Welcome to our show, Mr. Babacar, on this special issue on Islam in America, especially education. So it's a pleasure to welcome on this show our two brothers. On my left side, I have Brother Hamza, who is a business leader and teacher of business leadership also. And then we have on my right, and Dr. Julius Johnson, who is an education specialist and advisor to the U.S. government, and also he is an historian of the African diaspora. Thank you for coming today. So my first question is, Brother Julius.
Yes, sir.
What is the importance of education from your own perspective?
Thank you, Brother Bachir. Bismillah. Assalamu alaikum. This question is fundamental to humanity. In the English language, it comes from the Latin word educatus, meaning to tap that which is within the human being, also to bring out that thing and then raise it up. That happens by acknowledging that the world is a classroom, and that within that classroom is the context. The context is the world. The curriculum is that which is in the world. So when man and woman reflect on the stars, that then becomes a subject area of study, astronomy, looking at the land and the oceans, geography, the minerals under the earth, geology, the story of man, history, the story of the psyche, psychology. So these subjects, which make up the curriculum within the context of the world being a classroom, is what is known as education. From the Islamic perspective, it encompasses that which was and was not, that which is and is not, that which will be and will never be. It is the totality of the curriculum of knowledge. That knowledge, that wisdom and understanding is what education provides, which gives you the food, the clothing, and the shelter to enjoy the love, the peace, and the happiness. Alhamdulillah.
Thank you, Brother Julius. So now I turn to my brother Hamza. In the U.S., we have many types of education. That is, people are using many ways to educate their people, among which rap music. So how do you connect rap music to education?
Hip-hop itself sends a direct message to the youth because they connect well with it. You have DJ Khaled, which is Muslim, Wale, Mos Def, Kevin Gates, which is a great friend of mine. He was once a Christian, and once hanging around me and me and my peers, watching us pray and how we interact as Muslim brothers, took upon himself to take his shahada, become Muslim himself. And he made the pilgrimage to Hajj. And he referenced a lot of Islam in his music now, which that's globally that everyone listens to. So it's also spreading dawah, educating people on Islam at the same time.
But it is something that is formally organized to have rappers commit to education.
It's creative. As an artist, you're able to express yourself through your own experiences and relay that on a beat for have the youth to listen to it and say, I don't want to do that he went through, or wow, that was deep message that he brought to my ears with the rhythm and everything. So it's definitely can be educated through music, because there is a special message that comes through hip hop of the struggles, the struggles that people go through everyday life in America, the youth, the struggle that we go through of not being heard, not being respected, not able to have our voice heard. So we express that into the music to get our point across.
Okay.
And our point gets across globally.
Okay.
Everyone understands it, all youth from around the world.
Right.
And that's a major impact. And
Right. Well, Dr. Julius, what is the best way of educating our people in the U.S.?
The best way to educate our people in the United States is to identify within the classroom of their environment their reality, to illuminate themselves to themselves. What's happened to our people in the United States, my dear brother, is that during the Great Ma'afa, which was the transatlantic slave trade, our people lost their religion, their language, their culture, and their land. And we were denied access to education. And there was an attempt made by those who enslaved us to retard our development. It was against the law in the United States, in many states, from 1619 to 1863, for a black man, woman, or child to read. And we know in Islam, this is the first commandment, Iqra, to read in the name of your Lord. And so there has been a struggle from our inception into the United States for education. And remarkably, we have made great strides through some of our tremendous educators, Frederick Douglass, Denmark Vesey, Gabriel Prosser, Nathaniel Turner, Sojourner Truth, Frederick Douglass, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and Imam Warathi Muhammad, and Carter G. Woodson, and many more, to resurrect the black man, who is the original man, the maker, the owner, the cream of the planet Earth, to know himself, to know the world around him, and to take his place in society as the Muslim community is doing in the United States of America. So the best way to teach is to illuminate the American black man to himself, to his greatness, of knowledge of self, to know thyself, to love thyself, to respect thyself, and to give thyself. This is why we are here in Africa, to connect with our brothers on the continent of Africa.
So how these experiences you guys are having in Africa can inform your education policies?
Well, Africa is the birthplace of mankind. The first man to ever walk on two legs was in Africa. The African black man is the original man on the planet Earth who gave birth to every living being on the planet Earth. We built the pyramids of Giza. We navigated the Nile, the Red Sea, from Cape Town to Cairo, Accra to Nairobi. We have mapped the planet Earth and the stars. We understand every square inch of the planet Earth, all 12,478,118,400,000 inches on the planet Earth. We know it, we knew it, and we must teach it. So the knowledge in Africa, through the culture, through the music, through tapping into the pineal gland, which excretes the melatonin to allow the black man to enter into states of consciousness to remind himself of his superhuman power, is what we are here to deal with and to take back. The great professor, multi-genius, Sheikh Anta Diop, who understood the power, the architecture, the sciences, the African sciences, the herbs, the culture, the language, the music, the drum. The drum is the smartphone that was created by the African man to communicate to the African when a baby was born, when an elder died, or when there was threat in the village.
But the drum,
yes, sir,
was not in the hand of everybody in those days.
It didn't
now
need.
we have smartphones in the hands of children.
And that is something that we are incorporating in the development of our education process. So for example, specifically, there's a school in the United States of America that is under duress, Sojourner Douglas College, that wants to engage in online education. Technology, the study of using artificial intelligence for the advancement of human development, is something that is not against the teaching of Islam. The fact that a child is utilizing the smartphone is only an illustration of the child's genius and ability to apply his intellect or her intellect to a substance to advance civilization. There's much for us to learn in Africa. The Africans were the first beings on the planet. They have understood the power and importance of sustainability, of continuity, you see, it's the individual, it's the family, it's the tribe, it's the country that allows the African to find his identity. So in America, we are learning these lessons, the importance of retaining these knowledge, skills, and abilities that the Africans understood. This is the richest continent ever known to mankind. The gold, the diamonds, the oil, the mineral wealth, the sciences, the culture, the people, the resiliency, the mindfulness, the strength of Africa has never been seen before. The cellular strength of the African has been analyzed, and it has bewildered scientists. Henrietta, the African-American sister whose cells literally would not die. They kept replicating themselves. This is the power of being the original man. Every person comes from Africa. Africa is the mother of civilization and has much to teach its children.
Thank you. Well, Brother Hamza, I know you are involved in training. You provide training in business leadership, which is another way of educating your people. So how African culture and African American culture can help in these particular programs you are fostering in the U.S.? And what are the challenges in general when it comes to, mentoring or training young entrepreneurs in business leadership? And how do you use culture, your own culture, with African or African American, just to, push it?
Well, you got a lot of students that are in school that mainly get college prep, basic language, math, science. But you have a lot of students that have creativity in them, and they want that to be nurtured through other vocational courses like welding, arts and crafts, culinary arts, woodwork. That's not doors that are opened up for majority of students in America. Business program that I have started was called the Millionaires Group in Atlanta, Georgia. And it was a program that enabled the youth to be taught by real life businessmen, successful businessmen, multimillionaires, about business and finance and public speaking, negotiation, which was held at Spelman College and Morehouse College in Atlanta, Georgia. We had such a huge participation that we had to open 2 more classes, had over 75 students coming in faithfully every weekend. That is key to anything that we want to do for as the youth in the future can get done through business and trade. And we have to have those lanes opened up for us so we can learn those different skills, so we can be able to do big things in this world, to give to the next generation so they can learn.
Are you considering connecting to youngsters on the continent? And how do you think that your experience, like, in the US can benefit these people in Africa?
Most definitely. I think there is a gap that we can build a bridge to with Africa and American Black Muslims to come together and participate in doing business transactions together, where we can learn from your business culture as well as you learn from our business culture. I think it can correlate together and we can make money.
Okay.
If we make money, we can do more. And those are resources that we're able to give back to our families and give back to our communities so they can progress in the future too as well.
Good, thank you. So, Brother Julius, how do you connect education and business so that African can learn from their experience, especially here in Senegal, where we have like these, classic universities?
Education is a business in the sense that it is the material expression of currency exchange, of knowledge production. Business is about production. It's about transactional experiences between entities. It's transactional. Education is an action verb. It's transactional. It's, remember, educatus. It's the relationship to that which is inside you with the existential reality. And that transactional process is the business of developing man. And that can be monetized. That process can be monetized if that's the goal. But of course we know that wealth and money is not the end. It's a process to the humanity that we're trying to remind the world of and demonstrate to the world. You see? So one of the key pieces to the monetization of education and link that to business is research and development. We must research. We must engage our youth and our people in research and development. We must remind ourselves of the importance of experimenting. We need to stay in the lab, mixing potions, researching the scriptures, deconstructing reality, reverse engineering things that are new and things that are old to understand their individual components so we can reconstruct to the needs of the people. This process is what Africans have always been engaged in, when we must not be distracted from that key component to the education process, which is The research and development is the baseline, which serves as the springboard into innovation, creativity, and imagination. You see? And this is a very serious thing that we must be mindful of, because there are a lot of distractions. There are a lot of distractions.
That's right. So, Hamza, you have visited Africa?
This is my first time.
Sure. So
It won't be my last.
What's next for you? You have seen things, you have seen the potential, you have interacted with people. So what would be your next step?
Enterprising.
Toward Africa.
Enterprising.
And how?
I want to establish a commerce, a trade with import-export of products and goods, of things that are a necessity to Africa, such as water, electronics, building materials, furniture. These are some of the things that are on my list to want to be able to bridge, to supply some of the necessities and wants for the African people.
Great. Now, I think that we are closing this special issue on Islam in America, and I will just allow my guests to give the last word. We're going to start with Hamza. What will be your last word?
My last word would be that I am thankful for you having me on your show, to be able to express some of my concerns for Black youth, Black Muslim youth in America, and the African Muslim youth in Senegal. And I hope and pray that we're able to come together and make some money.
Thank you. Dr. Julius, your last word?
Alhamdulillah. Bachir, I want to thank you, beloved, for inviting me on the show and for your insightful questions on such a pertinent issue. So thanks to you. I want to invite the youth and our brothers and sisters in Senegal to the United States of America to Google Community Life Forward. We are having a conference in Atlanta, Georgia, July 6th through July 8th. July 6th through July 8th. And if the youth or others are interested in learning more about the multi-geniuses that we have in America who will be at that conference, please contact us. We are engaged in the business of education, culture, and politics. And we want to invite the brothers and sisters of Senegal. We will be back, inshallah, and we want to let the people of Senegal know we are one people. It's one ummah. We are one people, and we come in peace in search of the reality of the reality.
Thank you, Brother Julius. So this was your show, Studio Babacar, today on a special issue, Islam in America. It's a pleasure welcoming our brothers in the United States of America who are in Senegal for a short visit. They have come to visit the Lion community, who are preparing the 138th edition of the celebration of the call of Sayyidina Imam al-Mahdi. And I think that we will be here like next week to discuss it and dig it more. Thank you.